Yo, it's your boy Smoke Bath in the Madden video. Today's video, we're going to be rebuilding the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys not starting the season too hot. 3-5 record right now, and as the time this is posted, they are probably going to be losing to the Eagles if we're being realistic. And they have had a lot of injuries. Micah Parsons is back, but he did miss at least 3 games. I know that. And that's just not a good player to get injured. Trevon Diggs and Deron Bland, I think, are injured. I know Deron Bland was at least injured. I think Diggs might have missed 1 game. But anyway, not good right there. I mean, those are 2 superstars. This right here. I'm feeling okay about the overall team. Dak, pretty solid. He'll be the starter for a couple more years, probably, in this rebuild. I'm not going to get rid of him quite yet. He's not like he's super old or anything. But he is not young by any means. Defense definitely needs some work. Definitely need to improve that defensive tackle position. Soon to the end of the season, because it was past the trade deadline, we couldn't even really do much anyway. Anyway, the Dallas Cowboys did not make playoffs. Not really that surprising. I think maybe before the season started, people would have thought the Cowboys would make playoffs, but definitely not right now at this starting point. Now let's go ahead and check the stats. Let's see how Dak Prescott and everybody else did. Dak with 4,863 yards, or 4,063 yards, 27 passing touchdowns, and 18 interceptions, a completion percentage of 66%. So Dak did okay. Interceptions a little high. Rico Dowdle, first year being a starter, 776 rushing yards, 5 rushing touchdowns. Ezekiel Elliott, 5 rushing touchdowns with 246 yards. CeeDee Lamb, 1,324 receiving yards, 9 receiving touchdowns. Jake Ferguson, 753 yards, 4 receiving touchdowns. Jalen Tolbert, 6 receiving touchdowns. And Jonathan Mingo, he had 3 receiving touchdowns. He's a newly acquired Dallas Cowboy. Eric Kendricks led the team in tackles. Tackles for loss was Micah Parsons. And then leader for sacks was Cholson Golston. And then Trevon Diggs and Eric Kendricks both had 2 interceptions. This is everybody we are going to be losing in the first year of free agency. Brandon Cooks, Marquise Bell. Kind of don't want to lose them, but I mean, they're a little bit older. The interest isn't that high. We're going to be losing Jordan Lewis. Cholson Golston, guy who just led us in the sack category. But yeah, we're also losing our punter. So this is everybody we are siding when we get to free agency. Jalen Ward, the running back. I don't mind Rico Dowdle. I think he's pretty solid. But he didn't have that great of a year. And his overall could be a little bit better. So Jalen Warren, they'll probably split time. Then we got Jake Gibbons, middle linebacker. We definitely need help on middle linebacker. Left end, we got Antoine Powell Ryland. He is a 77 overall, and he's a left end. This is who we got in the draft. Then we got Marquis Thomas, a strong safety out of Miami, is 77. And then we also got a 78 overall. So our best overall came from the 3rd round, and it was Verdon. And then we got a middle linebacker, right end, and then we got a fullback, Nathan Barton, in the 7th round. We're going to go and do a trade here. I don't really love it 100%, but it's a position we need. We're giving up a 2nd round pick and a 7th rounder for a 77 overall Alex Anzalone. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like trading in this Madden is actually a lot harder than the previous Maddens. But anyway, he is definitely a solid role player, so we'll take him. We do make the playoffs, but we are 1st round exits against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we were the 5th seed in the 2025 playoffs, but we lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 28-20. So not really that surprising. I mean, we were close to making playoffs last year somehow, even though they started really bad. And we got a little bit better, so our team did better. Dak performed a lot better, though. Dak with 4,213 passing yards, 37 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 71 completion percentage, and a passer rating of 111.4. Jalen Warren, first year as a Dallas Cowboy, 894 rushing yards, 14 rushing touchdowns. Rico Dowdle did not get that many attempts. Oh, my God. I mean, I was expecting Jalen Warren to get more, but I did not think Rico Dowdle would only have 34 attempts for 120 yards. Dak Prescott was able to get 3 rushing touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb is the leading receiver with 1,201 receiving yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. Jonathan Mingo, 12 receiving touchdowns with 1,013 yards. Jake Ferguson, 890 yards and 10 receiving touchdowns. Jalen Tolbert, 756 yards with 4 receiving touchdowns. Alex Anzalone, the guy we just traded for, and Jay Gibbons, the guy we just signed, and Marquis Thomas, the guy we just drafted, top 3 leaders in tackles. Sacks is DeMarcus Lawrence. Then it's Micah Parsons. And I like Micah Parsons, and he's definitely contributing to this team a lot. But if you're going to be a 98 overall, I would appreciate you to get at least double-digit sacks. Anyway, we're going to be losing DeMarcus Lawrence. He is just a little bit older, and he's at the age where Madden, he's going to start regressing. 34, he's definitely going to start regressing. We also lost Jake Ferguson, sadly. Jake Ferguson, I like Jake Ferguson. He is a good, reliable tight end, and he honestly should get more targets a game. Anyway, we signed Vita Vea, Raheed Shaheed, Matt Milano, Tyree Matthew, and Osiris Torrance. So we signed a lot of free agents. Some of them are a little bit older, like Tyrann Mathieu, and Matt Milano is not really that young. But we are definitely in a win-now mode. I mean, we still have Dak Prescott on our roster. I know he gets a lot of criticism, but he is a solid quarterback, and especially in Madden, he is pretty solid. So, anyway, we drafted a left tackle in the first round, and then we took a defensive tackle, Jerry Fulton, then right guard in the third, then fourth, we took a center, Nick Larson, then defensive tackle again, and then right tackle. If you happen to know a common theme around all these picks, they are all linemen, whether they're offensive linemen or defensive linemen. I don't know, I just wanted to point that out there, but we definitely did need help on the defensive side of the ball. I still think that's our weak spot. Anyway, though, we made playoffs again for the second straight year. The 2027 playoffs, we lose to the 49ers, as you just saw right there. We had a record of 14-3, so we definitely did something good. I don't know what exactly it was. Let's go and see who was cooking. It looks like Dak had an amazing year with 4,499 yards, 35 passing touchdowns, only 3 passing interceptions, a 72 completion percentage, a passer rating of 128. So Dak, he absolutely balled out. Jaylen Warren, 1,023 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott, 4 rushing touchdowns. Jalen Tolbert, the leading receiver, with 1,376 yards and 13 receiving touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb with 1,146 yards and 12 receiving touchdowns. Raheed Shaheed, 6 receiving touchdowns. Then Steven Newkirk, he got 5 receiving touchdowns. Matt Milano, leader in tackles. Tackles for loss was Micah Parsons. Vita Vea. Micah Parsons, 10.5 sacks. Antoine Powell-Ryland. And then Matt Milano, Trevon Diggs, Verdon, Deron Bland, and Jake Gibbons all got us interceptions as well. Pretty solid. We're definitely starting to turn it around. But we did only put up 13 points against the 49ers in that last playoff appearance. We're going to be losing Tyrann Mathieu and Matt Milano because they're just older, and look, they regressed. Yeah, like they did put up a pretty solid year for us, but they regressed pretty heavily in the overall wise. Anyway, we got our first big free agent signing, Jahmyr Gibbs, a 94 overall, 26. You know, Jaylen Warren, he's been doing pretty good for us, but Jahmyr Gibbs, we need some superstar talent. We need free safety. We're going to get Reed Blankenship. I feel Reed Blankenship's really solid, and we're getting Logan Wilson at right outside linebacker. So this will help fill in for Matt Milano and Tyrann Mathieu, who are no longer a part of the team. We didn't really lose a running back, but he will take over the starting spot for Jaylen Warren. This is around the time where Dak Prescott is going to regress if we don't do anything this year or next year. So I drafted a quarterback in the first round. He went to UCF, and then we got Sapp as a running back, right outside linebacker, Spellman, left end Porter, then quarterback, and then we got a strong safety as well in this draft class. Now, we are in the Super Bowl right now. Okay, so we are the 5th seed, and we made it all the way to the Super Bowl. We're facing the Baltimore Ravens. This is the first time in the rebuilds of Madden 25 we have made it to the Super Bowl yet. So, getting really excited right now, but let's go ahead and break it down real quick. So, the first round, as you can see on the bottom right there, we faced the Seattle Seahawks, and the score was 21-9. And then we faced the Philadelphia Eagles, and it was 31-37. And then we faced the Chicago Bears, and the final score was 28-21. Now we need to worry about taking the Baltimore Ravens down. The Ravens, I'm pretty scared to face them, to be honest. They're the second seed, and it looks like they did really good in the playoffs. So let's go and check out the season stats before we start the Super Bowl simulation, just because we want to check out the regular season stats. Anyway, Dak Prescott, 4,790 yards, 39 passing touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 70% completion, 111.5 passer rating. Jahmyr Gibbs, he did pretty good, but not as good as I thought. Only 1 yard over 1,000 yards. He did have 14 rushing touchdowns, which is pretty insane. The rushing touchdowns is insane. Jaylen Warren had 6 rushing touchdowns. Dak Prescott, he had a good amount as well. CeeDee Lamb is back to being the leading receiver. I don't know what that 1 year of Jalen Tolbert being the leading receiver was all about. But anyway, CeeDee Lamb, 1,252 yards, 7 receiving touchdowns. Raheem Shaheed's 15 receiving touchdowns. Stephen Newkirk, 7 receiving touchdowns. Then there's Jalen Tolbert, 944 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. Jake Gibbons, he had 96 tackles. He led the team. Then Marquis Thomas. Then Trayvon Diggs. Tackles for loss was Brown, Micah Parsons, Vita Vea. Sacks was Micah Parsons, Vita Vea, Antoine Powell, Reinloud, Elijah Brown. And then interceptions was Marquis Thomas, Logan Wilson, David Verdon, and then Deron Bland was able to get one. And then so was Micah Parsons, Reed Blankenship, and Trayvon Diggs. All right, guys, let's go ahead and sim this Super Bowl. Keep in mind, we are going to sim because, it is a rebuild. I don't want to impact it at all. I want the team I built to go and play. I want to be the general manager. Unfortunately, the general manager can't just suit up. So I'm not going to be playing it, but I wanted to dive into the game to see the little presentation. And also, I feel it's a little bit more dramatic and it looks better if I super sim it for you guys. I feel like you guys can react in real time. So here we go. Dak Prescott and Lamar Jackson facing off. There he is. There's the man Dak. A lot of people hate on him. Maybe I'm one of them from time to time, but he is a solid player at the end of the day. Lamar Jackson, the multi-time MVP winner, going against Dak Prescott. So let's go ahead and go to the Super Sim. I'm not even going to do the kickoff. I don't even want to affect this game at all. So let's go ahead. Oh, the Ravens score first. They already got 7 on the board. And then they score again. It's 14-0. This isn't looking good. We do got a field goal, though, going into half. It's now a tied game, so might be able to do a comeback. We're up by 1 possession right now, and I think we're able to hold on. And we do. The Dallas Cowboys win. They win the Super Bowl. So it's a 14-21 Super Bowl victory for the Dallas Cowboys. You can see the Cowboy player doing the ring me celebration right there. There you see Dak jumping up and down. There you see Coach getting the Gatorade. This is a pretty cool presentation. I like it. So as you see right there, a lot of the Cowboys players happy. There's Dak finally able to get a ring. The Cowboys fans have been wanting since 1996. I believe that's the last year they won. And then there's Roger Goodell handing the trophy off. So Lamar Jackson, he's a really good player, but Dak says even 4 years down the road, you got to wait your turn because there are still other great quarterbacks trying to get a ring. Let's go and check out the Super Bowl stats. Dak Prescott, he had a rating of 127.1, 1 passing touchdown, no interceptions, and 81 completion percentage. That is amazing. Lamar Jackson, he didn't do that great. I think he had 2 interceptions. Victor Duke, he's an auto-generated running back for the Ravens, but it looks like he got a rushing touchdown. Lamar Jackson got a rushing touchdown as well. CeeDee Lamb, 5 receptions, 115 yards. Victor Duke, 4 receptions, 24 yards. Jalen Tolbert, got a good amount of yards right there. Let's go and check the defensive side of the ball. Marcus Williams, Simpson, Nate Wiggins all got tackles. Let's go and check the tackles for loss. Jimmy Rowe, so that is an auto-generated guy as well. Then let's go check sacks. Oh, no one in this game got a sack. Okay, so no quarterback was sacked. Interceptions, Reed Blankenship and David Verdon. So I'm so happy we were able to get a Super Bowl, guys. All right, there it is, 21-14. Super Bowl MVP was Dak Prescott. If you guys are interested in the other yearly awards, that the NFL MVP in 2028 was Lamar Jackson. Then Matt LaFleur was the Coach of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Lamar Jackson. Defensive Player of the Year, Greg Rousseau. then obviously the Rookie of the Years are going to be auto-generated because we are 4 years down the future, but it doesn't matter because we finally were able to complete a rebuild. If you guys are interested in the other years of the simulation of the rebuild, who was a Super Bowl winner in the award winners, 2027, the New York Jets won, and then Jalen Hurts was MVP. Josh Downs, Offensive Player of the Year, then Myles Garrett, Defensive Player of the Year. Then you got 2026, the Houston Texans. They get their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Super Bowl MVP was C.J. Stroud. NFL MVP was Quinn Ewers on the Saints. And then Offensive Player of the Year was Josh Downs. Defensive Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. Offensive Player of the Year, Steven Newkirk. So that's our tight end right there. This is the Cowboys. But anyway, 2025, the Ravens had another Super Bowl appearance, but they lost to the Philadelphia Eagles that year. So 2 NFC East teams beat the Ravens in the playoffs in a 3-year span. So Super Bowl MVP was Jalen Hurts. Regular NFL MVP was Patrick Mahomes. Coach of the Year, John Harbaugh. Offensive Player of the Year, Saquon Barkley. Aiden Hutchinson was Defensive Player of the Year. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Make sure to check out the other rebuilds. Thank you guys for watching.